Hey, it's Mac with PriceActionTradingSystem.com, and it is Monday and it's December 7th. This will be our chart lesson for the day. And uh, quickly, I wanted to show you something real quick. These are not all trades, all the reds and blues you see here, so don't get too excited. This is a really slow day, and there weren't but 4 or 5 trades the entire day, and it just the market's going to probably continue to slow down and get. I mean, you just really can't trade this right here hardly. You just almost have to avoid it and stay out of it, or you just get chopped to pieces. We finally got a little bit of a trend down and then back up later in the afternoon, but uh, actually, I should say, really, this started about noon. The trend started a little earlier, but you didn't get a chance to get into it till about noon, and then it was quickly over, and then we had a little bit of a trend back up. So that took us really right into 2 o'clock, and you just not much going on. But what I wanted to show you, what all these numbers are, is we have created a program that will count the second entries, and there's a few of them on. I'll just go over a few of them, but we'll be putting this up on the site before long. I'm just testing it. Seems to be working properly. It's real basic, and you won't want to use this for very long. This will just be something that newbies will want to use just till they learn how to read a second entry. And I still need to play with it some more to make sure I fully understand all of the stuff. I didn't actually create this. Some of our members created this, and they actually they paid a programmer to do this. Of course, they asked me a lot of questions about it, and I tried to answer the questions and all. But I'm not spearheading this. I'm just helping them with it. And once it's ready to go, which will probably be sometime this week, I think. I believe it's pretty much ready to go, just for what we're going to do it for. I'll put it up on the website. We are going to charge for it. It's going to be very minimal, though. It's not going to be very expensive. Somebody told me that somebody else has one of these out that's $150. Another guy's 200 and something dollars, and this one will be under 50 bucks, probably less than that. And the only reason we're charging is so these guys can recoup their investment of what they had to pay the programmers and for their time and energy, and they got a lot of hard work in this thing. So uh, people don't realize that it takes a lot of hard work, and if you can't program, you got to pay somebody to program this stuff. And it's a lot of emails and work back and forth. So we will charge for it, although it'll be very minimal. They're going to set the price. Uh, they've already told me it'll be under $50. They've kind of recommended a price to me, and we're going to talk about that. And I won't mention it yet because I don't know exactly. We just kind of have a range of 25 to 30 bucks. Something in there is probably what they're going to charge for it. And we'll make it available on our site for download, just like you download any of our files. And there'll be a small charge if you're interested. And like I said, this is not something that I believe anybody should keep on their chart all the time. This will just be for new people that are struggling, trying to find second entries and how to use it. And the red, where you see the red numbers, that bar is what triggers. That means that's where the first entry triggered. This is where the second entry triggered. And the blue is where the first entry long triggered, and 2 is where the second entry long triggered, 3 is where the third entry long triggered, and it'll just number them until the count starts over and so forth. So it'll be real easy to read. And while it's actually in the print mode, you can see that it's showing 1 and 2 here. So that means if the next bar that turns up, it'll be a second entry long, and the next time you get a bar that finishes and turns down, it'll be a first entry long short, because we made it. And notice we made a new low, so you've got to make a correction and turn down. So it'll always tell you what the next move to be looking for here is. So we're looking for a second entry long. Doesn't mean it's one you want to take, but it just tells you the count and what to look for. So we're looking for a possible second entry long here and a first entry short. And then obviously after the fact, it numbers them for you. So you can go back and study them and make sure you're figuring them out. Here's a good example right here. Just notice we made a new swing high. It's higher than that one, and you run down. You get a first entry, and then you send the second leg down. So when it breaks higher, it's a second entry long. And you'll notice I marked that one green because we're looking for a reversal due to the overshoot and the break and the two legs down. And so we're looking for a possible reversal here. That's a very aggressive trade. We'll talk about that when we come to it. But it's a second entry long. Look how far away from the EMA it is. We're looking for a possible reversal here as well. So that's why I marked it green. But anyway, I just want to mention that. Keep an eye out for that. One other housekeeping thing I wanted to mention is I'll probably, the market is really slowing down, and it'll probably get worse as we go into the Christmas holiday. And closer you get to the end of the year, the slower it's probably going to get. Doesn't mean we won't have a big rally day or a big sell-off day. It could still happen. But for the most part, you're going to get a lot of this right here. Just a very slow day, not many trades. And that's because people are starting to take off, and a lot of people take this last month off, and definitely the last couple of weeks. Normally I take the last 2 weeks of the year off. Since Christmas falls on a Friday this time, I'll probably do it a little bit differently. I will probably work all next week and then take off. Let me get my calendar up. Okay, what I'll probably do is I'll work all this week, and I'll probably work Monday and Tuesday and maybe Wednesday of next week. So we'll have business as usual on those days. If I decide to leave to, if by the end of this week, if things still are starting to look like this every day, I may go ahead and just take off all of next week too. So I hadn't made up my mind yet. Just, I'll probably, like I said, I'll probably work Monday and Tuesday and maybe Wednesday of next week. And then that's probably going to be it for me through the end of the year. I probably won't trade, so that'll mean no mid-morning chart and no daily chart lesson for a couple of weeks there. I might come in. I'll probably get bored over the break. I got so much going on, though. I may not. And I may be out of town some as well. And we've been going to our new lake house a lot, and I have no internet there. And when we don't, it's just, I can't do any work. So a lot of times on the weekends, I'm not even working at all. Can't answer any emails even hardly. So, but anyway, just be aware that that's kind of my plan. It's just not worth it to sit here really you had to sit here from 9 o'clock to noon, and you can't really even trade that. There's a couple of trades in there before it really turned completely sideways again, but it's just not worth sitting around for, at least not to me. Let me get this off the chart here, and I'm gonna actually take the indicator off. Okay, let's get to the trades here. Not going to be many of them. It's not going to take long. 7 o'clock. This trade actually came a few moments before 7 o'clock. If you were sitting here, there's no reason you couldn't take this trade. I wasn't here in time, so I couldn't take it. 7 o'clock actually came a bar or two later here. I can't remember which one it was, but this was like 6:50 something, just prior to 7 o'clock. So if you're ready and you're sitting here, notice you got a double bottom down here, and so you get a first entry, a second entry, and it fails quickly, and it confirms that trend line with a third touch. So I like going long there. It takes it a minute to work on out, but it's a good trade. And then we just go sideways, and you just can't trade this. You just can't trade this. It's just too tight. I marked one trade in here. Actually, there's two trades. I'll talk about this one in a minute. But you start to go, notice how prices are going sideways, and we broke out, and then we broke out again, and it looked like maybe we were going to go a little higher. So just measure this side of the range and move it up and look for your measured move. And that's where we go to. And then we have a little failed breakout here. And this actually breaks higher and turns down. There's no way I'd go short way down here, right back into the midline of this, which it turns out this is just going to be the midline basically, because this was previously your resistance. Now it's going to act as your support. So you don't want to go short right into that. So the only way you could enter this is on the engulfing bar. So, and I don't know if I would enter that on an engulfing bar, although it is a breakout and it does make a little lower high. Notice how you made the high and it ticks one tick higher and fails. That's probably going to trap people, and you can see how quickly it rockets down. So you may trade it that way. That would be the only way I'd enter. I wouldn't enter. Of course, it never triggered down here if you waited on this bar, but I wouldn't enter there if it did. And then we're just stuck in this half, and there's just no trades here. You get a little failed break lower, which you might could take that trade. But again, this is kind of the middle of what it is. It turns out that's just the middle of a two-tiered range, and you're kind of right in that range. So again, you may take that trade because you could really look at it like we went into a tighter range here, and that's a failed breakout. So I'll make it green. I won't make that one blue, but it's a possibility. I'm not crazy about it. And then it just gets tighter and tighter and tighter till finally we break out. No way I want to enter out of that. No way I want to enter way down here. And so you just wait on this second entry right here. This bar is almost neutral, but with that being a key entry point and a second entry short, and we do have a breaking new high, you might wait on the lower high, which doesn't come till over here. And then I think it's too late because now you've already had a break and a new low. Again, this is one, it actually broke higher and turned down. You might mark that one as being aggressive. I'd skip it. But you could argue this is a lower high. I mean, we've really moved so far here, and we've already got the break and a new low. I tend to like that one because there's not any trades, and that's the closest thing you've seen to a trade all day. That doesn't mean you necessarily take a trade, but there's enough reasons there to take that trade. I mean, if it's one tick lower, it's really close to being in its lower third, but one tick lower for sure it probably is. And so I like that trade. This one you might take it. I'd rather wait and take a risk on this trade if I'm going to take a risky one. But notice we got the break, 2 legs down to a new low. Look how far we are away from the EMA. This is a second entry long, as I showed you earlier. So you're moving down first entry, then second entry when it breaks above that bar. Then you make a first entry short, you shoot above the EMA and turn back and make a second entry short, and it fails. And so you may go along there on that failed second entry short. It does confirm the trend line with the third touch there too. And we run up, we finally get a break, and there's another second entry long right here. Notice that you got a high, new high, first entry, second entry. This was after 2 o'clock, but there weren't a lot of trades, so I went ahead and marked it anyway because you'd expect prices to retest this high here at a minimum. And the fact that it's a range day, we could go higher. So I marked it too, but really there's only 1, 2, 3, 4 red or blue trades. 1, 2, 3, 4. Actually, 1, 2, 3, 4, because this one's, actually there's 5, and if you count the one after 2, there's 6. Well, there's more than I thought there were. That's still a lot of waiting to do there. And of course you got a couple of green ones. But just not a very good trading day, and it's probably going to get slower as we go into the month, like I said. So anyway, I'll get this one processed and uploaded here. Probably be uploaded by 5 o'clock. So you'll probably be viewing this by 5 o'clock today, maybe a little bit earlier because it shouldn't take too long. But we'll be back again to do it tomorrow. And like I said, I'm going to work this whole week. So we'll have our regular chart lessons Monday through Thursday this week. We'll have your regular mid-morning chart Monday through Friday. And then I'll kind of let you know Friday based on how it's going. But I'll probably work Monday and Tuesday of next week for sure. And maybe even Wednesday if things pick up a little bit. But my guess is they're probably going to slow down more. We'll just have to see. We'll have a normal week this week. I'm going to wrap it up. Hope you had a good trading day. We'll be back again to do it tomorrow. This is Mac with PriceActionTradingSystem.com, and we'll see you next time.